Blood tastes like copper and fear. I learned that tonight when Tyler's fist connected with my mouth for the third time. Now I'm sitting in the emergency room at Mercy Hospital, pressing an ice pack against my swollen face while trying to remember how to breathe without my ribs screaming. The intake nurse barely looked at me when I said I fell down the stairs. She's heard it before. I saw it in her eyes. That mixture of pity and frustration that makes my stomach twist. She wrote something on my chart and told me to wait. I've been waiting 23 minutes. I know because I've been watching the clock above the reception desk, counting seconds, trying to focus on anything except the throbbing pain radiating through my entire body. My left arm is purple from wrist to elbow. Tomorrow it'll be darker. Tomorrow I'll need long sleeves again. The ER is chaos tonight. October rain brought accidents, apparently. 2 ambulances arrived since I got here. Sirens wailing, paramedics shouting medical jargon I don't understand despite being a teacher. I should probably know more about anatomy. Then again, I shouldn't need to know which bones break easiest. Hannah Foster? I stand too quickly. Pain explodes through my torso and I have to grab the armrest to keep from falling. The nurse pretends not to notice. Exam room 4, follow me. The hallway smells like antiseptic and bad coffee. We pass rooms with curtains drawn, voices murmuring behind them. Someone is crying softly. Someone else is arguing with a doctor about insurance. Normal hospital sounds. Except none of this is normal. None of this should be happening. Exam room 4 is small and cold. The nurse takes my vitals without speaking. Blood pressure elevated. Pulse racing. Temperature normal. She writes everything down. The doctor will be in shortly. You'll need x-rays for those ribs. She leaves before I can respond. I sit on the paper-covered table, and it crinkles beneath me. The sound is too loud in the silence. I stare at my hands. My knuckles are scraped from when I tried to shield my face. It didn't work. I should call Megan. My sister will be worried if I don't check in. We talk every few days, and she always asks the same question. Are you okay? I always lie and say yes. Tonight the lie would be harder to sell. She'd hear it in my voice. She'd know. Jessica from work texted me earlier asking if I wanted to grab dinner tomorrow. Sweet Jessica, who brought me coffee last week when I looked tired. She doesn't know why I'm always tired. She doesn't know about the nights I spend sleeping in my car because going home feels dangerous. She tried to help once. Suggested I talk to someone. I told her everything was fine. Everyone thinks everything is fine. The door opens. But it's not a doctor. It's a man in a dark suit, tall and broad-shouldered, with the kind of presence that fills a room immediately. He looks at me with eyes that are calculating and intense. Ms. Foster. Not a question. A statement. My heart hammers against my damaged ribs. I'm waiting for the doctor. My name is Franco. He steps inside and closes the door behind him. My employer would like to speak with you. I don't know your employer. Not yet. He gestures toward the hallway. He's in a private room down the hall. It'll only take a moment. Fear spikes through me, sharp and immediate. This is wrong. Everything about this is wrong. I don't think... Please. His tone softens slightly. He heard about your situation. He'd like to help. I don't need help. I fell down some stairs. Franco's expression doesn't change, but something flickers in his gaze. Recognition, maybe. Or disappointment. The stairs, right. He opens the door wider. 5 minutes of your time. That's all he's asking. I should refuse. Should tell him to leave, call for security, make a scene. But there's something in the way he's standing there, patient and calm, that makes me hesitate. And beneath the fear is something else. Curiosity, maybe. Or desperation. 5 minutes, I hear myself say. The hallway feels longer walking back through it. Franco moves with precision, his footsteps measured and quiet despite his size. We pass exam room 3, exam room 2, and stop at a door marked Private Suite. He knocks once. A voice from inside says, "Come in." Franco opens the door and steps aside, letting me enter first. The room is nicer than the one I was in. Actual furniture instead of just an exam table. A small sofa. A television mounted on the wall. And sitting in a chair near the window, with his right shoulder heavily bandaged, is a man who makes my breath catch. He's maybe 35, with black hair and eyes so dark they're almost black too. Sharp features, strong jaw, the kind of face that belongs in movies or magazines. He's wearing a hospital gown, but somehow makes it look deliberate. When he looks at me, I feel exposed in a way that has nothing to do with my injuries. Thank you, Franco. His voice is low, controlled. Close the door. Franco does. I hear the soft click and realize I'm alone with a stranger who shouldn't know my name. Who are you? My voice shakes despite my effort to sound steady. Christopher Ravellini. He gestures to the chair across from him. Please sit. You look like you're about to collapse. He's not wrong. I sink into the chair, grateful to be off my feet. Christopher watches me with an intensity that should feel threatening, but somehow doesn't. I apologize for the unusual approach. I heard the nurses talking about you. About what they think happened. Heat floods my face. They don't know anything. They know what domestic violence looks like. The words land like a punch. I look away, focusing on the window behind him. Rain streams down the glass, distorting the city lights beyond. I fell, I repeat. Down the stairs. His tone makes it clear he doesn't believe me. How many stairs? I don't remember. Did you hit your head? No. Then you'd remember. He leans forward slightly, winces and settles back. I'm not here to judge you or force you to admit anything. I'm here to offer you a way out. I meet his gaze. A way out of what? Whatever situation led you to this hospital tonight. Anger flares through the fear and pain. You don't know anything about my situation. I know what it's like to watch someone you care about suffer and feel powerless to stop it. His expression darkens. I know what it's like to live in fear, and I know what it's like to finally decide you've had enough. Something in his voice makes me pause. There's history there, pain that mirrors my own. Why do you care? I ask quietly. Christopher is silent for a long moment. When he speaks again, his voice is rougher. My mother. She stayed with my father for 16 years. 16 years of broken bones and black eyes and apologies that meant nothing. I was too young to help her for most of it. When I finally got old enough, strong enough, I made sure he never hurt her again. The implications in that statement are clear. I should be terrified, should run from this room and never look back. But I'm frozen in place, caught between horror and something that feels dangerously close to hope. I don't know you, I say. No, but I'm offering you protection, a safe place, resources. Whatever you need to get away from whoever did this to you. I have a sister, Megan. She lives in Brooklyn. She'd worry. You can contact her. Explain that you're safe. I have a job. I teach elementary school. PS 147. My students need me. And you'll return to them when you're ready. I shake my head. You're talking about leaving my entire life behind. I'm talking about staying alive. The bluntness of it steals my breath. Because he's right. Some part of me, the part I've been ignoring for months, knows that Tyler is going to kill me eventually. It's not a question of if anymore. Just when. I don't even know you, I say again, weaker this time. Christopher reaches into the pocket of his hospital gown and pulls out a business card. He holds it out to me. You don't have to decide now, but take this. If you change your mind, if things get worse, if you just need someone to talk to, call that number, day or night. Someone will answer. I stare at the card. Plain white with a phone number printed in black. No name, no business. Just digits that could represent salvation or disaster. What do you want in return? I ask. Nothing. Nobody helps for nothing. I'm not nobody. He holds the card steady, waiting. I'm someone who understands what you're going through. Someone who wishes he'd had help when his mother needed it. Someone who can actually do something about monsters like the man who hurt you. I take the card. My fingers brush his, and the contact sends electricity through me. He's warm despite the hospital chill. Solid. Real. I should get back, I say. They'll wonder where I went. Tell them you got lost looking for the bathroom. Christopher settles back in his chair, and I can see the pain in the tightness around his eyes. Take care of yourself, Hannah Foster. And remember, that number reaches me directly. Not an assistant, not a receptionist. Me. I stand, clutching the card. Thank you, I think. You're welcome. I think. Franco appears the moment I open the door, like he was waiting just outside. He escorts me back to exam room 4 without speaking. The nurse finds me a few minutes later, apologetic about the wait. She doesn't notice I was gone. The x-rays show 2 cracked ribs, but nothing broken. The doctor, a tired woman in her 50s, gives me pain medication and a handout about domestic violence resources. She doesn't ask questions, just looks at me with sad, knowing eyes and tells me to be careful. I leave the hospital at 1:30 in the morning. The rain has slowed to a drizzle. I stand under the overhang at the entrance, trying to decide if I can afford an Uber home or if I need to take the subway. My phone is nearly dead. My wallet holds $17. A black car pulls up to the curb. The window rolls down and Franco looks out at me. Get in. I'll drive you home. I can't. You can. Mr. Ravellini wants to make sure you arrive safely. I'm too tired to argue. Too sore. Too broken in ways that have nothing to do with my ribs. I climb into the back seat. Franco doesn't ask for my address. He already knows it. The realization should disturb me, but I'm beyond caring. I rest my head against the window and watch the city blur past. He drops me at my building in the Bronx 20 minutes later. Remember, he says as I get out. The number on that card. Anytime. I nod and walk inside. 3 flights up to my apartment. Each step agony. Tyler is passed out on the couch, empty whiskey bottles scattered around him. I lock myself in the bedroom and sit on the floor with my back against the door. The business card is still in my pocket. I pull it out and stare at the numbers. Christopher Ravellini, a man who was shot tonight and still found time to offer help to a stranger. A man with dark eyes and darker history. A man who said he understood. I should throw the card away. Should forget this entire night happened. Should go back to pretending everything is manageable. Instead, I tuck the card into my nightstand drawer, beneath the journal I haven't written in for 2 years. Just knowing it's there makes breathing a little easier. Outside my window, the city continues its endless rhythm. Sirens, traffic, lives intersecting and separating in the darkness. Somewhere out there, Christopher Ravellini is recovering from a bullet wound. Somewhere out there, people are making choices that will change everything. I lie down on my bed, fully clothed, and stare at the ceiling until dawn breaks. When morning comes, Tyler will apologize. He'll cry and swear he'll never do it again. He'll be gentle and sweet for exactly 3 days before the cycle starts over. But this time, I have something I didn't have before. A phone number. A choice. A stranger who looked at me like I mattered. I don't know if I'll ever use it. Don't know if I'm brave enough to change my life so drastically. But the possibility exists now, real and tangible as the card in my drawer. And sometimes, possibility is all you need to survive one more day. 5 days. That's how long it takes for Tyler's apologies to evaporate like morning fog. 5 days of him being sweet and careful, bringing me tea and saying he's sorry 1,000 different ways. 5 days of me pretending to believe him while my ribs healed enough that I could breathe without wincing. On the 6th day, he stops pretending. I'm in the kitchen making breakfast when he comes out of the bedroom, hair disheveled and eyes bloodshot. He's been drinking again. Started yesterday afternoon and didn't stop. The apartment smells like whiskey and stale air. You going to work today? His voice is flat. It's Monday. Of course I'm going to work. Wearing that? I look down at my gray sweater and black pants. Teaching clothes. Professional. Unremarkable. What's wrong with it? He doesn't answer. Just stares at me with an expression I've learned to recognize. The one that means he's looking for a fight, and any excuse will do. I finish making eggs in silence. My hands are steady despite the anxiety crawling up my spine. I've gotten good at hiding fear. 3 years of practice makes you an expert. Tyler sits at the table, and I place a plate in front of him. He doesn't touch it. Jessica called yesterday while you were sleeping, he says. My stomach drops. What did she say? Asked if you wanted to go out this weekend? Girls' night or some bullshit? His eyes narrow. Why is she calling here? She's my colleague. We work together. You give her our number? She has it from the school directory. Tyler shoves the plate away. Eggs slide onto the table. I don't like her calling here. I'll tell her not to. Yeah, you do that. He stands abruptly and goes back to the bedroom, slamming the door. I clean up the mess and finish getting ready for school. The bruises on my face have faded to yellow-green. Makeup covers most of it. My ribs still ache, but I can function. Function is all that matters. PS 147 is a 40-minute subway ride from our apartment. I use the commute to mentally prepare myself for the day. 23 third graders who deserve a teacher who isn't falling apart. Lesson plans on multiplication and reading comprehension. Parent-teacher conferences scheduled for next week. Normal things. Safe things. Jessica finds me during lunch break. She's 29, blonde, perpetually cheerful in a way that used to annoy me, but now feels like a lifeline. She brings me coffee without being asked. You look better, she says, sitting across from me in the teacher's lounge. Thanks. I feel better. Tyler taking care of you? The question is innocent. She doesn't know. Nobody knows. I've made sure of that. He is. Everything's good. Jessica studies me for a moment. She's not stupid. She sees more than I want her to, but she doesn't push. Just nods and changes the subject to complaints about the new standardized testing requirements. The rest of the day passes in a blur of children's voices and classroom management. I stay an hour after school grading papers, avoiding the inevitable return home. My phone rings twice. Tyler. I let it go to voicemail. When I finally leave, the October sky is already darkening. I take the subway home and climb the 3 flights to our apartment, with dread pooling in my chest. Tyler is on the couch. More empty bottles. The television playing some sports game he's not watching. He looks up when I enter. Where were you? School. I told you this morning. School ended at 3. I had papers to grade. He stands. I recognize the dangerous stillness in his posture. You think I'm stupid? No. Tyler, I was just what? Just sneaking around? Just lying to me? I wasn't lying. I was at school. Call the office if you don't believe me. That's the wrong thing to say. His face darkens, and he crosses the room in 3 strides. I back up, but there's nowhere to go. My shoulders hit the wall. Don't tell me what to do, he says quietly. Too quietly. I didn't mean... His hand closes around my throat. Not squeezing, just holding. A warning. You think you're so smart. Going to work. Talking to your little friends. Making me look bad. I can't speak. Can barely breathe. His grip tightens slightly. Maybe I should give you another reason to stay home. He continues. Another accident. That would keep you here, wouldn't it? Terror floods through me. Sharp and paralyzing. This is worse than the hitting. This is him realizing he can do more. This is escalation. He releases me suddenly and I gasp, stumbling sideways. He laughs. Actually laughs. Relax. I'm just messing with you. He returns to the couch like nothing happened. Order pizza for dinner. I'm hungry. I escape to the bedroom with my phone clutched in shaking hands. Lock the door. Sit on the floor with my back against it. My throat aches where his fingers pressed. Megan calls. I let it ring. She'll hear the fear in my voice and I can't explain. Can't tell her that I'm trapped and terrified and don't know how to get out. Wednesday is worse. Thursday is unbearable. Tyler doesn't go to job interviews he claims to have. Drinks starting at noon. Watches me with eyes that promise violence. I go to school and teach and smile and pretend. Come home and walk on eggshells. Sleep with the bedroom door locked. On Thursday night, he decides he's had enough of pretending too. I'm washing dishes when he comes into the kitchen. Already drunk. Already angry. Who is he? Who is who? Don't play dumb. The guy you're fucking. My heart stops. There's no one. Tyler, I swear. Liar. He grabs a plate from the drying rack and hurls it at the wall. It shatters. I flinch. You think I don't notice? You think I'm that stupid? I'm not seeing anyone. I go to work and come home. That's it. Another plate. Another explosion of ceramic. Then why are you different? Why don't you look at me anymore? I do look at you. You look through me. Like I'm not even here. He's advancing now. I'm backing toward the hallway. Like you're waiting for something better. That's not true. Maybe I should remind you what you've got. His hand shoots out, grabs my arm. The same arm that's still bruised. Pain explodes up to my shoulder. I wrench free and run. Make it to the bathroom. Lock the door as his fist hammers against it. Open the door. Leave me alone. Open it, or I'll break it down. He means it. I can hear it in his voice. Can hear him testing the door frame. It won't hold. Old building, cheap construction, landlord who fixes nothing. My bag is on the bathroom counter. I dumped it there this morning. My phone is inside. I grab it with trembling fingers. The card is still there. Tucked in the inner pocket where I put it 5 days ago and haven't looked at since. White, plain. A phone number that might mean nothing, or might mean everything. I dial before I can talk myself out of it. It rings once. Twice. A man answers on the third ring. Yes? This is Hannah Foster. We met at the hospital. You gave me your number and said... I remember. Christopher's voice is calm, controlled. What's happening? Tyler kicks the door. The frame splinters slightly. I let out a sound that might be a sob. Where are you? Christopher asks. Home. My apartment. He's trying to break down the door. Give me the address. I do. Somehow I remember it despite the terror making my thoughts scatter. We're coming. 15 minutes. Can you stay safe that long? I don't know. Hannah. His voice changes. Becomes urgent. Listen to me. Move anything heavy you can in front of that door. Buy yourself time. We're already moving. I can hear it. Voices in the background. Orders being given. An engine starting. I'm scared. I whisper. I know. Hold on. The line stays open. I can hear him talking to someone. Franco, I think. Giving directions. Telling someone to move faster. Tyler hits the door again. Wood cracks. He's going to get through. I shove the laundry hamper against the door. Then the small bathroom cabinet. It won't hold long, but it might give me minutes. Hannah? Christopher's voice. Still here. 8 minutes. Can you hear sirens? I listen. Nothing yet. Just Tyler cursing and hammering on the door. No sirens. There won't be. We're not police. That should terrify me. Should send up red flags and warning signals. But all I feel is relief. Time stretches, each second lasting hours. Tyler's assault on the door becoming more violent. Wood splintering, the lock bending. Then, suddenly, silence. I hold my breath. Listen. Voices, new ones, male, authoritative. Step back from the door. Franco. I recognize his voice from the hospital. Now. Who the hell are you? Tyler. Slurring. Confused. Someone who's going to give you a choice. You can walk out of here on your own, or we can carry you. Your decision. This is my apartment. You can't... The sound of a scuffle. Tyler shouting. Then nothing. A knock on the bathroom door. Gentle. Hannah. It's Franco. You can open up now. I move the hamper. The cabinet. My hands are shaking so badly I can barely turn the lock. The door opens and Franco is there, looking exactly as I remember. Calm. Professional. Behind him, the apartment is empty except for broken dishes and overturned furniture. Where is he? Being secured. Mr. Ravellini is downstairs. He'd like to speak with you. I step into the hallway on legs that barely support my weight. Everything feels surreal. Like I'm watching this happen to someone else. Christopher is in the building entrance, still wearing a sling on his right arm. When he sees me, something in his expression shifts, becomes gentler. Are you hurt? I shake my head. Can't speak. Get whatever you need from the apartment. You're not staying here tonight. Where? Somewhere safe. Somewhere he can't find you. Christopher looks at Franco. Help her pack. 5 minutes. Franco escorts me back upstairs. I move through the apartment like a ghost, grabbing clothes, toiletries, my laptop. Everything fits in one bag. My entire life reduced to essentials. Downstairs, a black SUV idles at the curb. Christopher opens the back door for me. I climb in, clutching my bag. The city passes outside the windows. I watch without really seeing. We drive for 20 minutes, maybe more. The neighborhoods improve. Buildings get taller, Cleaner, more expensive. We stop in front of a high-rise in Upper Manhattan. The kind of building with a doorman and marble lobby and elevators that don't creak. Christopher leads me inside. The doorman nods at him. No questions. No surprise at the late hour, or the woman with one bag following him. The penthouse is on the 32nd floor. The elevator opens directly into it. I step out and stop. Floor-to-ceiling windows overlooking the city. Modern furniture. Art on the walls. Space. So much space after years in a cramped two-bedroom with water-stained ceilings. Guest room is down that hall, Christopher says. Bathroom attached. Help yourself to anything you need. I don't understand. My voice sounds strange, distant. Why are you doing this? Because nobody should live in fear. He moves toward the kitchen, favoring his injured shoulder. Are you hungry? I'm not. Haven't been able to eat properly in days. But I nod anyway. Christopher pulls out ingredients with his good hand, makes sandwiches, pours water. We sit at the kitchen island in silence. What about Tyler? I ask finally. He's being questioned. We need to know if he'll be a problem going forward. And then, Christopher meets my eyes. That depends on you. On me? On what you want to happen. This is your choice, Hannah. It always has been. I take a shaky breath. I want to never see him again. Then you won't. It's that simple. That final. I should ask what that means. Should demand details. But exhaustion crashes over me like a wave, and suddenly I can't keep my eyes open. You should sleep, Christopher says. We can talk more in the morning. He shows me to the guest room. King-sized bed. Soft carpet. Windows with curtains that actually block out light. It's the nicest room I've ever been in. When the door closes behind him, I sit on the edge of the bed and cry. Not from fear anymore. From relief. From the realization that for the first time in 3 years, I'm somewhere Tyler can't reach me. I lie down fully clothed and sleep deeper than I have in months. When I wake, sunlight is streaming through gaps in the curtains. I check my phone. 9:30 in the morning. Friday. I should be at school. I find Christopher in the kitchen making coffee. His sling is off, but he moves carefully. Feeling better? He asks. I think so. I need to call school. Tell them I won't be in. Already handled. Franco called this morning. Told them you had a family emergency. That should bother me. That he's making decisions without asking. But it doesn't. It feels like someone finally taking care of things so I don't have to. What happens now? I ask. Christopher pours 2 mugs of coffee. Hands me one. Now you decide what you want your life to look like. And I help make that happen. For the first time in longer than I can remember, the future doesn't feel like a threat. It feels like possibility. Consciousness returns slowly, like surfacing from deep water. For the first few seconds, I don't remember where I am. The bed is too soft. The room is too quiet. No sounds of traffic bleeding through thin walls. No smell of stale beer and broken promises. Then memory crashes back. Tyler, the bathroom, the phone call, Christopher. I sit up and my ribs protest, but the pain is manageable. Sunlight streams through curtains that actually block light properly. The clock on the nightstand reads 8:17 in the morning. I slept for nearly 11 hours. The guest room looks even nicer in daylight. Clean lines, neutral colors, everything expensive without being ostentatious. There's a bathroom attached with towels so thick they feel like clouds. I shower for 20 minutes, letting hot water wash away more than just yesterday's fear. When I emerge wearing borrowed clothes I found in the closet, perfect fit, despite Christopher having no reason to know my size, I follow the smell of coffee to the kitchen. He's standing at the stove making eggs despite his injured shoulder. The sling is back on. He's wearing dark pants and a white shirt rolled to his elbows, looking more put together than anyone should at this hour. Good morning, he says without turning around. How did you sleep? Better than I have in years. My voice is rough from disuse. You didn't have to make breakfast. I wanted to. He plates the eggs and sets them on the counter. Sit. Coffee's ready. I settle onto a bar stool and accept the mug he pours. The kitchen is all gleaming steel and marble, the kind you see in magazines. Through the windows, Manhattan spreads out like a promise. Where's Tyler? The question comes out smaller than I intended. Christopher sits across from me, careful with his shoulder, in a secure location, being questioned. About what? His intentions. Whether he'll accept what happens next or if he'll be a problem. I wrap my hands around the coffee mug, seeking its warmth. And what happens next? That depends entirely on you. His dark eyes are steady on mine. This is your choice, Hannah. It always has been. The kindness in his voice breaks something loose inside me. Tears well up and spill over before I can stop them. Not panicked crying like last night. Something deeper. Relief mixed with grief for all the time I lost being afraid. Christopher stands and comes around the counter. Sits on the stool next to mine. Doesn't touch me. Just stays close. Solid. Present. I'm sorry. I manage. I don't usually fall apart like this. You're not falling apart. You're processing 3 years of trauma in a safe space for the first time. He hands me a napkin. Take your time. I dry my face and force myself to breathe normally. He waits without rushing me. When I finally speak, the words tumble out. It wasn't always like this. Tyler was different at first. Sweet, attentive. He made me feel special. I stare into my coffee. The first time he yelled at me, he apologized for hours. Said he was stressed about work. I believed him. Abusers are excellent at apologies. It got worse, so gradually I didn't notice. He didn't like my friends. Thought they were bad influences. I stopped seeing them. He said my graduate program was taking too much time away from us. I dropped out. He got jealous if I talked to male colleagues. I stopped going to faculty events. Christopher's jaw tightens, but he doesn't interrupt. The first time he hit me was 2 years ago. Backhanded me during an argument. He cried after. Swore it would never happen again. I laughed bitterly. It happened again 3 days later. Then it became normal. As long as I didn't make him angry, as long as I did everything right, I'd be okay. Except his definition of right kept changing. Why did you stay? The question isn't accusatory. Just curious. Like he genuinely wants to understand. Fear mostly. He said if I left, he'd find me. Make me regret it. And I believed him. I meet Christopher's eyes. Also shame. I'm a teacher. I'm supposed to be smart. How could I let this happen? What would people think? They'd think you're a survivor. Because that's what you are. The conviction in his voice makes me want to cry again. Instead, I ask, why do you care so much? You don't know me. Christopher is quiet for a long moment. When he speaks, his voice is rougher. My mother. She lived with my father for 16 years. He was a respected man in our community, ran successful businesses. Everyone thought he was wonderful. At home, he was a monster. What happened to her? She died when I was 14. Officially, it was a heart attack, but I know better. Years of stress and fear and beatings took their toll. His hands curl into fists. I was too young to stop him for most of it. When I finally got big enough, strong enough, I made sure he couldn't hurt anyone ever again. The implication is clear. I should be horrified. Should be backing away from this man who just admitted to murder. But all I feel is understanding. How old were you? 16. That's too young to carry that weight. I've never regretted it. He looks at me directly. My father was evil. Some people are. Tyler is one of them. And you don't owe him mercy just because society says you should. I process this carefully. What exactly are you suggesting? I'm suggesting you decide what you want to happen. Tyler can be warned severely and released. Given money to leave the city and never contact you again. Or he can be dealt with permanently. Your choice. You mean killed. I mean removed as a threat. Forever. My hands shake. I set down the coffee before I spill it. That's not a choice anyone should have to make. No. But it's the reality of your situation. He will come back eventually. Men like him always do. So you either spend the rest of your life looking over your shoulder, or you end the threat. This is insane. I stand, pace to the windows. The city stretches below. Millions of people living normal lives. I can't just decide whether someone lives or dies. You already have. You chose to live. That's the important part. I turn to face him. What are you, Christopher? Really? He doesn't hesitate. I'm the head of a criminal organization, the Ravellini family. We control territory, businesses, operations that aren't strictly legal. I inherited leadership when I was 22 after my father's death. So you're a mafia boss. That's what people call it, yes. And you kill people. When necessary. When they threaten what's mine or break agreements or hurt innocents. He stands, walks closer. But I have rules. We don't traffic humans. We don't sell drugs to kids. We don't harm civilians who aren't involved. We protect our people and our territory. That doesn't make it right. No, it doesn't. But it's the world I operate in. He stops a few feet away. I'm not asking you to approve of what I do. I'm offering you protection and resources. In exchange, I ask nothing except that you make decisions for yourself, instead of out of fear. I study his face. Dark eyes that don't waver. Strong features that hold secrets and violence, and something that looks almost like hope. Why me? I whisper. You could help anyone. Why did you choose me? Because when I heard those nurses talking about you, I saw my mother. And I saw myself at 14, powerless to help her. This time I'm not powerless. This time I can actually do something. The honesty in his words cuts through all my reservations. He's not a hero, not a savior, just someone who understands and has the means to help. I need to call my sister, I say. Megan. She lives in Brooklyn and she'll be worried if she doesn't hear from me. Of course. Use my phone if yours isn't working. I retrieve my phone from the guest room. It's dead. Christopher gives me a charger and I wait for it to power up. Megan answers on the second ring. Hannah? Thank God. I've been trying to reach you. I'm okay. Better than okay, actually. I take a breath. I left Tyler. Silence. Then, what? When? Where are you? Last night. I'm staying with someone who's helping me. A friend. What friend? Hannah, are you safe? I'm safe, I promise. I just need a few days to figure things out. I'm coming to get you. Tell me where you are. No. Megan, please. I need space right now. I need to process everything. I'll call you every day, okay? But I need you to trust me. More silence. I can hear her breathing, deciding whether to push. You swear you're safe? You swear this isn't Tyler manipulating you? I swear. Tyler is gone. This is my choice. Okay. She doesn't sound convinced, but she's backing off. But I want to see you soon. Like, within the week. Deal. I love you. Love you too. Be careful. I end the call and find Christopher watching me from the kitchen doorway. She took that better than expected, I say. She loves you. She'll accept what you need. Next call is harder. The school. I dial the main office and get the receptionist. PS 147, how may I help you? Hi, this is Hannah Foster. I need to speak with Principal Morrison, please. One moment. Principal Morrison comes on the line. She's been running the school for 15 years and knows everything that happens within its walls. Hannah, I heard you had to leave suddenly yesterday. Is everything all right? Not really. I need to request medical leave. 2 weeks to start. This is about Tyler, isn't it? Not a question. My throat tightens. Yes. Say no more. I'll approve it immediately. Take whatever time you need. Your students will be covered. Thank you. I'm sorry for the short notice. Hannah? Her voice gentles. I've suspected for a while. Jessica mentioned concerns. I'm just glad you're getting help. Don't apologize for surviving. We end the call, and I sit heavily on the couch. Christopher joins me, keeping respectful distance between us. 2 weeks, I say. That's how long I have to figure out my entire life. It's a start, and you can take longer if you need it. What about Tyler? What happens to him? Christopher's expression becomes unreadable. I need you to understand something. Once you make this decision, it's final. There's no changing your mind later. So think carefully about what you actually want. I close my eyes and let myself imagine it. Tyler still existing somewhere in the world. Always a threat. Always a possibility that he'd show up drunk and angry. Or I imagine him gone. Completely. Permanently. Never able to hurt me or anyone else again. When I open my eyes, Christopher is waiting patiently. 3 years, I say quietly. 3 years of my life stolen. 3 years of fear and pain, and pretending everything was fine. Jessica tried to help. She saw the signs. I shut her down because I was too scared of what Tyler would do if I told anyone. That's not your fault. I know. Logically, I know. But I'm still angry. At him for what he did. At myself for letting it continue. I meet Christopher's gaze. I want him gone. I want to never worry about him again. I want to live without fear. Then he'll be gone. Just like that. Just like that. The simplicity of it should disturb me. Should trigger moral outrage. But all I feel is relief washing over me like a wave. What do I owe you for this? I ask. Nothing. You owe me nothing. People don't do things for free. I do. When it matters. He stands, offers me his hand. Come on, let's get you settled properly. You'll stay here as long as you need. No pressure, no expectations, just safety. I take his hand and let him pull me up. His palm is warm, calloused, steady. For the first time since I can remember, I feel like maybe everything actually will be okay. 10 days pass in a strange kind of peace. I settle into Christopher's penthouse like a guest who doesn't quite belong, but isn't asked to leave. He gives me space, asks nothing of me, and somehow that makes it harder to maintain emotional distance. I wake each morning to coffee already made and breakfast waiting. We eat together, mostly in silence, but it's comfortable. He works from home, takes calls in his study with the door closed, speaking in low tones that I don't try to overhear. I read books from his extensive library, watch the city through floor-to-ceiling windows, and slowly remember what it feels like to breathe without fear. The nightmares come anyway. I wake gasping, convinced Tyler is breaking down the door. Christopher appears within minutes every time, standing in the hallway outside my room, asking quietly if I'm all right. He never comes in uninvited, never assumes, just waits until I say I'm fine, then disappears back to his own room. Franco visits daily, bringing updates I don't ask about and don't want to know. Tyler is gone. That's all that matters. How or where or in what condition, I've learned not to question. On the 10th morning, everything changes. I'm curled up in the library reading when I hear voices in the entryway. Multiple voices. Male. Urgent. I set down my book and move to the doorway cautiously. The living room is filling with men. Dozens of them. All dressed in dark suits, all carrying themselves with the kind of controlled violence that makes my pulse spike. They don't notice me standing in the shadows, too focused on Christopher, who's directing them with quiet authority. Adriano, secure the perimeter. Joseph, make sure the feed is encrypted. Franco, bring him when I signal. Him. Someone is being brought here. My stomach knots. Christopher turns and sees me. His expression shifts. Becomes gentler. He crosses the room in long strides. Hannah, I apologize for not warning you. We have business to conduct here. It might get loud. What kind of business? The kind that involves family betrayal. His jaw tightens. You're not in danger, but I understand if you want to stay in your room until this is finished. I should. Should retreat to safety and pretend I don't know what he is, what he does. But something in me rebels against hiding anymore. I'll stay. Christopher studies my face. You're sure? I want to understand your world if I'm living in it. He nods slowly. Then stay in the library. Watch if you need to, but don't intervene. Whatever you see, whatever you hear, it's necessary. The men continue arriving. I count 23 before I lose track. They fill the living room, standing in formation like soldiers awaiting orders. Christopher moves among them, speaking to each briefly, his presence commanding without being loud. Franco arrives with another man in tow. This one is younger, maybe late 20s, with dark hair and features similar to Christopher's. Family resemblance is unmistakable. Roberto. Christopher's voice could cut glass. Thank you for joining us. What's this about? Roberto's bravado is undermined by the tremor in his voice. He knows. Whatever he did, he knows he's caught. Gentlemen, Christopher addresses the room. 10 days ago, someone leaked information about our shipment routes to the O'Sullivan family in Boston. 3 of our trucks were intercepted. Merchandise worth $2 million was stolen. 2 of our drivers were killed. The temperature in the room drops. Every man goes still. I've spent those 10 days tracking the leak, following the money, tracing communication patterns. Christopher pulls out a folder, tosses it onto the coffee table. Roberto, care to explain why your personal account received $50,000 from an O'Sullivan shell company the day before the attack? Roberto's face drains of color. That's not what it looks like. No? Then explain what it looks like. I don't have to explain anything to you. Wrong answer. I can see it in how every man in the room shifts slightly, hands moving toward weapons they haven't drawn yet. Christopher's expression doesn't change, but something about him becomes more dangerous. You're right, you don't have to explain. The evidence speaks clearly enough. You sold out your family for $50,000 and a promise that the O'Sullivans would back your claim to leadership. You're paranoid. That money was a loan. From our enemies. Return to them with our confidential information. Christopher steps closer. You killed 2 of our men, Roberto. Anthony left behind 3 kids. Joseph had a pregnant wife. Their blood is on your hands. Those men were expendable. The room erupts. Not with noise, but with motion. 23 men moving as one, drawing weapons, advancing on Roberto, who realizes too late that he's made his final mistake. Enough. Christopher's voice cuts through the tension. The men freeze. Roberto, you're my cousin, my blood. That used to mean something. It still means I should be leading this family, not you. Your father was weak. He let sentiment cloud judgment. You're the same. My father was a monster who beat my mother to death. I am nothing like him. Christopher's voice is ice. But you're right about one thing. I do let sentiment influence my decisions. That's why you're going to walk out of here alive. Roberto's relief is visible. Christopher, I'm not finished. You're banished. As of this moment, you have no family, no protection, no name. Every organization in this city and beyond will know you betrayed blood. You'll have 24 hours to leave New York, if you're still here after that. The offer of life expires. The implications settle over Roberto like a death shroud. Banishment in this world is worse than execution. He'll be hunted, friendless, without resources or allies. Every enemy Christopher has will see him as easy prey. You can't do this. I just did. Franco, escort him out. Roberto's eyes sweep the room, looking for support, finding none. These men know what betrayal costs. They know mercy when they see it, even if it doesn't look merciful. Franco grabs Roberto's arm, but Roberto wrenches free and reaches for his waistband. The motion is smooth, practiced. He's going for a gun. He doesn't clear leather before Franco has him disarmed and on the ground. The weapon slides across the floor. Nobody moves to retrieve it. Get him out, Christopher says quietly, and make sure everyone knows why. Franco hauls Roberto to his feet and marches him toward the door. The other men part to let them through. When the door closes behind them, silence fills the space like a held breath. Christopher addresses his men. Let this be a reminder. Loyalty is everything in this family. You protect your brothers. You keep the code. You never, ever sell out your own. He pauses. Go home to your families. Kiss your wives. Hug your children. Remember what we're actually protecting. The men file out quietly, each nodding to Christopher as they pass. Within minutes, the apartment is empty, except for me standing in the library doorway, and Christopher standing alone in the suddenly cavernous living room. He sees me, and something in his posture changes. The hard leader facade cracks slightly. You shouldn't have watched that. You gave me the choice. And if you're terrified of me now, I'll understand. He moves to the windows, staring out at the city. That's what I am, Hannah. What I do. I judge. I punish. I make decisions about life and death. I cross the room slowly, my heart hammering for reasons that have nothing to do with fear. Would you have really killed him? If he'd drawn that weapon, yes. Without hesitation. He's your cousin. He was my cousin. Now he's a traitor. Christopher turns to face me. Does that scare you? It should. I stop a few feet away from him. But mostly I'm impressed by the restraint. You could have killed him. Your men expected you to. You chose mercy instead. That wasn't mercy. That was strategy. His death would have started a war with his father's side of the family. Banishment sends a message without spilling blood. It's still a choice, a harder one than violence would have been. He studies me with those dark, intense eyes. You're not what I expected. What did you expect? Someone who would run screaming the moment they saw this side of me. I've lived with a monster for 3 years. You're not one. I take a breath, but I don't want to be helpless anymore. I don't want to hide in back rooms while things happen around me. What are you asking? Teach me. Self-defense. How to protect myself. I never want to feel powerless again. Christopher is quiet for a long moment. You're sure? Yes. It won't be easy. Training means pain, exhaustion, pushing past your limits. Good. I'm tired of being fragile. Something like pride flickers across his face. Tomorrow morning. 6 a.m. The gym is on the 2nd floor. Wear comfortable clothes. The next morning, I discover Christopher's gym is better equipped than most commercial facilities. Weights, machines, mats, and a boxing ring that looks well used. He's already there when I arrive, wearing training pants and a fitted shirt that shows exactly how lethal he is even without weapons. His shoulder is healing well, almost back to full mobility. First lesson, he says. Self-defense isn't about fighting fair. It's about surviving. Forget everything you've learned about being nice. If someone attacks you, you hurt them badly enough that they can't continue. Okay. Show me how you'd throw a punch. I make a fist and swing awkwardly. He catches my wrist easily. Wrong. You'll break your thumb like that. He adjusts my hand, his fingers warm against my skin. Thumb outside. Power comes from your legs and core, not your arm, like this. He demonstrates. The movement is efficient, controlled, devastating. We spend 2 hours on basic strikes. Punches, palm strikes, elbows. My muscles scream, but I don't stop. Can't stop. Every movement is reclaiming power Tyler stole from me. Christopher is patient, correcting my form repeatedly, never frustrated. When I finally land a proper strike on the training pad he's holding, his approval is genuine. Better, again. By the end of the week, training becomes my favorite part of each day. Christopher pushes me hard, but never past what I can handle. He teaches me where to hit to cause maximum damage, how to break holds, where the body's vulnerable points are. But it's more than just technique. It's the way he watches me with focus that borders on intensity, how his hands linger when adjusting my stance, the heat that builds between us in those close moments on the mat. I'm starting to feel something I shouldn't. Something dangerous. Attraction to the man who saved me. To the darkness wrapped in discipline. To the violence tempered by unexpected gentleness. I tell myself it's gratitude. Stockholm Syndrome, maybe. Anything except what it actually is. But late at night, alone in my room, I can't stop thinking about him. And that terrifies me more than anything Tyler ever did. I closed the book when the sun finally edged the windows, pulse steadier than when I'd started. It was absurd and bloody and larger than life, but it reminded me of something simple. Survival isn't pretty. It's practiced. People who love you anchor you back to yourself. I wasn't a queen, and there were no silver chains or councils in my world. But suddenly, I could breathe. When the kettle clicked off in the kitchen, I put the paperback back on the shelf and went to meet the day I actually had. 3 weeks after leaving Tyler, I wake to find Christopher sitting at the kitchen island with his coffee, expression darker than usual. Franco is with him, speaking in low tones that stop the moment I enter. Morning, I say carefully. Christopher nods to Franco, who leaves without a word. Then he looks at me with an intensity that makes my stomach twist. We need to talk about Tyler. I pour coffee with hands that want to shake, but don't. What about him? He's been in our custody for 3 weeks. We've confirmed he has no family who'll come looking. No employer to file reports. No friends who care enough to investigate. Christopher pauses. The question is what happens next. I sit across from him, wrapping both hands around my mug. You said he'd be dealt with. I said he'd be removed as a threat. There are different ways to do that. He holds my gaze. Option 1. We release him with enough fear and money to disappear. Send him to another state, another life, with clear understanding that returning means death. He'd come back eventually. Probably. Which brings us to option 2. Christopher's voice doesn't change. Permanent removal. He disappears completely. No trace. No possibility of return. The words hang between us. He's asking me to authorize murder. To make a choice no one should have to make. How much time do I have to decide? As long as you need. But understand that every day we keep him is a risk. He's volatile, angry, making threats. Eventually something will give. I think about Tyler's hands around my throat. His promises to make me regret leaving. 3 years of escalating violence that would have ended with my death. If you release him, he'll find me. Maybe not tomorrow or next month, but eventually. And next time he might actually kill me. I won't let that happen. You can't watch me forever, Christopher. I meet his eyes. And I don't want to spend my life looking over my shoulder, waiting for him to appear. Then what do you want? The question is simple. The answer isn't. I want to never think about him again. I want to wake up without fear. I want him gone. My voice drops. Permanently. Christopher nods once. Then it's done. Just like that? Just like that. He stands, moves around the island to where I'm sitting. His hand covers mine, warm and steady. This is on me, Hannah. Not you. You're just choosing to live without fear. The rest is my responsibility. Will you tell me when it's finished? If you want to know, I do. He squeezes my hand gently. Then I will. 3 days later, Franco pulls me aside while Christopher is in a meeting. It's handled. Tyler Grant was officially reported as a missing person yesterday. His landlord filed after unpaid rent. Police will investigate but won't find anything. Where is he? I need to know. Gone. Permanently. You'll never see him again. Relief crashes over me so hard my knees weaken. Franco steadies me with a hand on my elbow. You okay? I think so. I look up at him. Thank you. For everything. Thank the boss. He's the one who cared enough to act. The guilt comes later. That night, lying in bed, I processed the fact that I authorized someone's death. Tyler was terrible, abusive, dangerous. But he was still human. And now he's gone because I said the word. I cry for the first time since it happened. Not for Tyler, but for the weight of the choice. For the knowledge that I can never undo this. Christopher knocks softly on my door around midnight. Hannah? Can I come in? Yes. He enters, sees me curled on the bed with tear-stained cheeks, sits on the edge without asking permission. Talk to me. I killed him. I know you did the actual act, but I gave the order. That makes me responsible. No. That makes you a survivor who protected herself. His voice is firm. Tyler would have killed you eventually. Maybe in another beating. Maybe when you tried to leave. But it would have happened. You chose life over death. There's no shame in that. Then why do I feel guilty? Because you're a good person. Because taking life, even a life that threatened yours, isn't easy. He touches my hand carefully. But guilt doesn't mean you made the wrong choice. It means you understand the weight of what happened. That's human. I grip his hand like a lifeline. Will this feeling go away? Eventually. With time and help. He pauses. Which is why I've arranged something. There's a therapist, Dr. Lauren Price. She specializes in trauma recovery. I'd like you to meet with her. Therapy? 3 sessions a week to start. More if you need it. She's discreet, experienced, and has worked with people in similar situations. Similar how? People who've experienced violence, who've had to make impossible choices, who need help processing without judgment. Part of me wants to refuse. Admitting I need therapy feels like admitting Tyler won, that he broke me. But the smarter part, the part that wants to heal, knows Christopher is right. Okay, I'll meet with her. Good. He stands but doesn't leave. Hannah, I need you to hear something. What happened to Tyler doesn't define you. How you move forward from here does. After he leaves, I lie awake thinking about that. About defining myself by healing instead of trauma. It's a nice thought. I hope it's possible. Dr. Lauren Price has an office in Midtown, warm and comfortable with soft furniture and art that doesn't try too hard. She's maybe 45, with kind eyes and an air of competence that puts me at ease immediately. Hannah, thank you for coming. I know this isn't easy. Christopher said you specialize in trauma. I do. Specifically trauma related to domestic violence and difficult life choices. She settles into her chair. Let me be clear about something. This space is confidential. What you tell me stays between us, unless you're in immediate danger. Christopher won't have access to our sessions. That surprises me. He's paying you, though. He is. But therapy doesn't work if you can't be honest. So whatever we discuss, it's yours alone. The first session is hard. Dr. Price asks about my relationship with Tyler, and speaking it all out loud makes it more real. But she doesn't judge. Doesn't tell me I should have left sooner, or make me feel stupid for staying. She just listens and asks questions that help me understand my own patterns. By the third session, I'm talking about the choice I made regarding Tyler's fate. Do you regret it? She asks. I don't know. I'm relieved he's gone, but I feel guilty about that relief. Guilt and relief can coexist. They're not mutually exclusive. She leans forward slightly. Hannah, you didn't cause Tyler's violence. You didn't choose to be abused. You did choose to survive. That's what we're working with here. The sessions help more than I expected. Not because they make the guilt disappear, but because they give me tools to process it. To separate what I'm responsible for from what Tyler chose to do. My 2-week medical leave is ending, and I'm not ready to return to school. The thought of standing in front of my classroom, pretending everything is normal, makes anxiety spike through me. Christopher finds me staring at my phone one morning, trying to compose a message to Principal Morrison. What's wrong? I need more time off, but I don't know how to ask. What if they say no? What if I lose my job? Then I'll support you until you find another one. He sits beside me, but I doubt they'll refuse. What if you offered to teach remotely for now? Your students still get their lessons, you have more time to heal. Would that even work? Only one way to find out. I call Principal Morrison directly. She answers on the second ring. Hannah, how are you feeling? Better, but not ready to come back yet. I take a breath. I was wondering if there's any way I could teach my class remotely for a while, just until I'm ready to be on campus again. Silence. Then, let me see what I can arrange. Give me a day to work out logistics. She calls back the next afternoon. The school is approving remote teaching for up to 3 months. I'll conduct virtual lessons, coordinate with a substitute for in-person support, and check in weekly with the administration. Thank you, I say, throat tight with gratitude. I really appreciate this. Take care of yourself, Hannah. Your students will be here when you're ready. 4 weeks after meeting Christopher, I decide it's time for Megan to visit. She's been patient, accepting my daily phone calls without demanding to see me, but I can hear the worry in her voice every time we talk. Bring her here for dinner, Christopher suggests when I mention it. Let her see you're safe. She's going to have questions. About you. About why I'm living in a penthouse in Manhattan. Tell her whatever you're comfortable with. I'll follow your lead. Megan arrives Saturday evening wearing suspicion-like armor. She hugs me fiercely at the door, then steps back to look me over. You look different. Different how? Healthier. Less scared. Her eyes drift past me to the apartment. Jesus, Hannah. Where are you? Come in. I'll explain. Christopher appears from the kitchen, wearing casual clothes that somehow still look elegant. Megan's eyes widen. Megan, this is Christopher Ravellini. Christopher, my sister Megan. He extends his hand. It's nice to finally meet you. Hannah talks about you often. Megan shakes his hand slowly, clearly trying to piece together what's happening. You're the friend who helped her leave Tyler? I am. And she's staying here because my home is secure, and she needs time to heal without worrying about safety. Christopher's voice is calm, honest. I'm not asking anything from her. Just offering space and protection. Over dinner, Megan interrogates carefully. What does Christopher do for work? How did they meet? What's the long-term plan? Christopher answers most questions truthfully without revealing too much. He's an import-export. They met through a chance encounter. The plan is whatever Hannah decides it should be. After dinner, Megan pulls me aside while Christopher clears dishes. Is he good to you? Yes. Better than I deserve. Are you sleeping with him? No. Not yet, anyway. Though I think about it more than I should. But you want to. My face heats. Is it that obvious? Only to someone who knows you. Megan studies my face. I'm not judging. I just want to make sure you're safe and this isn't some rebound thing that'll hurt you worse. It's not. I don't know what it is exactly, but it's not that. She hugs me again. Okay, I trust you. And for what it's worth, he looks at you like you matter. That's something. After Megan leaves, Christopher and I clean up together in comfortable silence. When the last dish is put away, he turns to me. She's protective. She has reason to be. I've made bad choices before. And now I'm trying to make better ones. We drift to the balcony, looking out over Manhattan lit up like stars brought to Earth. The air is cool, but not cold. Christopher stands close enough that I can feel his warmth. Thank you, I say quietly, for everything, for saving me, for giving me space, for arranging therapy and letting Megan visit, and just being patient. You don't need to thank me. I do, though. I turn to face him. You've given me my life back. You did that yourself. I just provided resources. Christopher. I step closer. Stop being noble for 1 second and let me be grateful. He laughs softly. All right. You're welcome. The space between us is charged, electric. I've felt this building for weeks. During training sessions when his hands adjusted my stance. At breakfast when our eyes met over coffee. Late at night when I lay in bed knowing he was just down the hall. I'm tired of pretending I don't feel it. I close the distance and kiss him. For a heartbeat, he freezes. Then his control shatters and he's kissing me back with an intensity that steals my breath. His hand cups the back of my head, fingers threading through my hair. My hands fist in his shirt, pulling him closer. When we break apart, we're both breathing hard. Hannah, his voice is rough. Are you sure? Because if we do this, it changes everything. I'm sure. I've been sure for weeks. You're healing. You're vulnerable. I don't want to take advantage. I kiss him again to shut him up. This time he doesn't hesitate. Lifts me easily, my legs wrapping around his waist as he carries me inside. We don't make it to a bedroom. Fall onto the couch in a tangle of limbs and desperate kisses. Clothes disappear. His hands map my body like he's memorizing territory. I explore the hard planes of his chest, the scars that tell stories he hasn't shared yet. When he enters me, it's slow and deliberate. Not rushed, not desperate. Just profound in a way that makes my eyes sting. You okay? He whispers against my neck. Yes. Don't stop. He doesn't. We move together until the world narrows to just this. Just us. Just the feeling of being completely connected to another person in a way I've never experienced. After, tangled together on the couch, his fingers trace patterns on my bare shoulder. I've wanted this for a while, he admits. Me too. I just didn't know if you felt the same. Hannah. He tilts my face up to look at him. I haven't felt this way about anyone, ever. It terrifies me. Why? Because you matter. And in my world, things that matter become targets. Then we'll be careful. There's something you need to know. The Cartel del Golfo. They've been pushing for access to territory I control. Negotiations aren't going well. Things might get dangerous soon. How dangerous? War dangerous. I should be terrified. Should pull away and protect myself. Instead, I press closer. Then I guess we'll face it together. He holds me tighter, and I feel the shift between us. This isn't just attraction or gratitude. It's something deeper, more permanent, something worth fighting for. Outside, the city continues its endless rhythm. Inside, everything has changed. 8 weeks. That's how long it's been since that night in the hospital when Christopher offered me a card and a way out. 8 weeks of healing, training, therapy, and falling in love with a man who rules Manhattan's underworld with iron discipline and unexpected tenderness. The cartel issue has been growing like a tumor. Christopher tries to shield me from the details, but I hear things. Conversations cut short when I enter rooms. Franco's increasingly tense expressions. The way security around the penthouse doubled, then tripled. This morning, Christopher finds me in the home office I've set up for remote teaching. My laptop displays 23 third graders in a virtual classroom, all talking at once about the book we're reading. All right, everyone, I say, smiling at the screen. Remember your homework. We'll discuss Chapter 5 on Monday. A chorus of goodbyes, then silence. I close the laptop and find Christopher leaning in the doorway, arms crossed, watching me with an expression I can't quite read. What? I ask. You're good with them. The kids. They're why I became a teacher. I stand, stretch muscles tight from sitting. What's wrong? You have that look. What look? The one that says you're about to tell me something I won't like. He crosses to me, takes my hands. The Cartel del Golfo attacked 2 of our warehouses last night. Killed 2 men. They're escalating. My stomach drops. Are you okay? Is Franco? We're fine. We weren't there. His jaw tightens. But this is war now. They want access to port operations I control. I've refused. They're trying to force my hand. What does that mean for us? It means you stay here. No going out without my approval and heavy security. I can't risk them using you against me. Part of me wants to argue. I've spent 3 years being controlled, told where I could and couldn't go. But this is different. This is protection, not possession. And the fear in his eyes is real. Okay, I agree. I'll be careful. He kisses my forehead. Thank you. But careful feels like suffocating after 3 days. I'm teaching online, doing therapy via video call, and staring at the same walls until I want to scream. When Megan texts asking if we can meet for lunch, I jump at the chance. Christopher is in a meeting when I find Franco in the kitchen. I want to see my sister. Just for lunch. Brooklyn. That cafe she likes on 5th Avenue. Franco's expression is carefully neutral. The boss won't approve. Then I'll go without approval. Hannah. He sighs. You know I can't let you do that. So come with me. Bring whoever you need. But I'm going crazy locked in here, Franco. I need to see my sister. He studies me for a long moment, then pulls out his phone. I'll arrange it. 4 guards minimum. You don't leave their sight. Christopher finds out, of course. Calls me while I'm getting ready. Franco told me about your plan. I'm sorry I didn't ask you directly. But Christopher, I need this. I need to feel like I still have a life outside these walls. Silence. Then, 4 guards. You stay in public spaces. Any sign of trouble, you leave immediately. I promise. Hannah, his voice drops. If something happens to you, I won't recover from it. Do you understand? Nothing will happen. It's just lunch. The cafe in Brooklyn is exactly as I remember. Small, cozy, smelling of coffee and fresh bread. Megan is already there when I arrive, flanked by Franco and 3 other men who position themselves strategically around the space. This is subtle, Megan says dryly as I slide into the booth across from her. Christopher's being cautious. Because of the cartel thing? She lowers her voice. I Googled him, hon. Christopher Ravellini. Articles about organized crime, territory disputes, violence. What are you doing with someone like that? Surviving. Healing. Living. I reach across the table to squeeze her hand. I know it looks bad from the outside. But he saved me, Meg. Not just from Tyler, from myself, from giving up. But at what cost? I don't know yet. But I'm choosing this. Eyes open. Heart willing. She wants to argue more. I see it in her face. But the waitress arrives and we order sandwiches, shift to safer topics. She tells me about her job, her apartment, her latest dating disaster. I laugh for the first time in days. We're halfway through lunch when everything goes wrong. The front window explodes inward. Glass shrapnel everywhere. Someone screams. Franco is moving before I process what's happening, throwing me to the floor, his body covering mine. Gunfire. Rapid, controlled bursts. I can't see anything except Franco's back, feel his weight pressing me into the floor. Around us, chaos. Shouting in Spanish, return fire from Christopher's men. Then Franco jerks, goes heavy. I feel wetness spreading across my shoulder where his chest presses against me. Franco? My voice is too high, too scared. He doesn't answer. Someone grabs my arm, hauls me up. Not Franco. A stranger with cold eyes and a gun pressed to my temple. Move and I shoot, he says in accented English. I freeze, can't breathe, can't think. Around us, the shooting has stopped. I see Franco on the ground, bleeding. 2 other guards down. The 4th is backing away, hands raised, outgunned. Megan. Where's Megan? I spot her under a table, phone in hand, terror on her face but alive. Relief crashes through me. The man holding me says something in Spanish to his companions. They laugh. Then he's dragging me toward the shattered window, toward a black van idling at the curb. I try to fight, use techniques Christopher taught me. But the gun at my head makes every movement a calculated risk. He shoves me into the van and everything goes dark as someone pulls a bag over my head. The van moves. I count turns, trying to maintain orientation. Left, right, straight for what feels like 10 minutes. Right again. My training with Christopher surfaces through the panic. Observe, remember, survive. They remove the hood in what smells like an abandoned warehouse. Concrete floor, rusted metal walls, minimal lighting. Industrial area. Probably Queens based on the drive time. There are 6 of them. I count carefully. All armed. All watching me with varying degrees of interest. The leader steps forward. Older, maybe 50. With a scar running from his temple to his jaw. You are Christopher Ravellini's woman. Not a question. Who are you? Fernando Silva, Cartel del Golfo. He circles me slowly. Your man has something I want. Port access. Territory. He refuses to negotiate. So now we negotiate differently. He won't give you anything because you took me. No? Silva smiles. We'll see. One of his men sets up a camera. Silva pulls me to my feet, positions me in frame. When I try to resist, someone hits me. Hard. My vision whites out. Blood fills my mouth. Look at the camera, Silva orders. I do. Glare into the lens with all the hatred I can summon. Silva films for 30 seconds, then nods. The camera stops. Send it. Let Ravellini see what we have. They tie me to a chair after that. Industrial zip ties that cut into my wrists. My face throbs where I was hit. I can feel my lips swelling. Taste blood. Think. I force myself to focus through the pain. 6 men. 2 exits I can see. 1 loading dock door. 1 regular door. Guards rotate every hour. They speak Spanish, assuming I don't understand. But I catch enough. Christopher has 6 hours to respond to their demands. After that, they start sending pieces of me. Dr. Price's voice echoes in my head. Techniques for managing panic. Breathe in for 4. Hold for 4. Out for 4. Hold for 4. I do it. Again and again until my heart rate slows from crisis to just terrified. Time passes in a blur. I don't know how long. Could be 2 hours? Could be 5. The warehouse is cold. My body aches. But I stay focused, stay alert, watch for opportunities. Then I hear it. Distant. The sound of vehicles approaching fast. Silva hears it too. He's on his feet, barking orders. His men move to positions, weapons ready. The loading dock door explodes inward. I scream reflexively. Can't help it. Smoke fills the space. Gunfire erupts from every direction. I can't see anything. Can't do anything except press myself as flat as possible in the chair, trying to become small, invisible, anything to avoid the bullets flying past. The shooting is deafening. Organized chaos. Christopher's men moving like a military unit. Silva's men falling back, outmatched. A figure emerges from the smoke. Christopher. Moving with lethal precision, weapon raised, face a mask of cold fury I've never seen before. Our eyes meet. Relief crashes through his expression for 1 second before it hardens again. He's still in battle mode. He reaches me, cuts the zip ties with a knife, pulls me up. Are you hit? No, just bruised. Can you walk? Yes. Stay behind me. Don't look. But I do look. Can't help it. Bodies everywhere. Blood spreading across concrete. Silva trying to crawl toward an exit. Christopher leaves me with one of his men and crosses to Silva. Puts a bullet in his head without hesitation. Execution. Final. Then he's back, pulling me toward the exit. Move. Outside, 3 SUVs wait. Franco is there, bandaged but alive, directing operations. I nearly sob with relief. Christopher pushes me into the back seat, climbs in after. The vehicle moves before the door closes. Hospital, he barks to the driver. I'm okay, I protest. You're bleeding and bruised. Hospital. His tone leaves no room for argument. I lean against him and let the adrenaline crash hit. My hands start shaking. Then my whole body. Christopher pulls me onto his lap, wraps both arms around me, buries his face in my hair. I thought I lost you. I'm here. I'm okay. 6 hours. 6 hours of not knowing if you were alive, if they were hurting you, if I'd get there in time. His voice breaks. I've never felt fear like that. But you came. You saved me. Always. I will always come for you. The private hospital is small, discreet. They treat my injuries, minor despite how bad I feel. Split lip, bruised ribs again, some cuts. Nothing permanent. Christopher doesn't leave my side. Holds my hand through examinations. Stares at the doctor like he's memorizing every word about my care. Afterward, in a private room, I finally break. The terror I held at bay for 6 hours crashes through every defense. I sob into Christopher's chest while he holds me, murmuring things in Italian I don't understand, but that sound like promises. I love you. The words fall out, unplanned, but absolutely true. I love you, and I was so scared I'd never get to tell you. He pulls back to look at my face, hands cupping my cheeks with devastating gentleness. Say it again. I love you. Again. I love you, Christopher Ravellini. His kiss is soft, careful of my injured lip. When he pulls back, his eyes are bright. You are everything to me. The thought of losing you, of existing in a world where you don't, is unbearable. I love you, Hannah. More than I knew was possible. Even though I'm complicated and broken and come with trauma and therapy and nightmares, you're not broken. You're healing. And I love every part of that journey. He kisses my forehead. We're going home. You're going to rest. And tomorrow we'll deal with everything else. Now what about the cartel? Silva is dead. His organization will fracture without leadership. The war is over. I want to feel guilty about his death, but all I feel is relief. He would have killed me. Christopher stopped him. That's all that matters. Franco drives us home as dawn breaks over Manhattan. Christopher carries me to bed despite my protests that I can walk. Tucks me in like I'm precious. Sleep, he orders gently. I'll be right here. I fall asleep with his hand in mine, knowing that whatever comes next, we'll face it together. Recovery is slow. 3 weeks pass in a haze of physical therapy for my bruised ribs and emotional therapy for everything else. Dr. Price increases our sessions to 4 times weekly, helping me process the kidnapping on top of everything with Tyler. You're doing remarkably well, she says during week 2. Most people would be catatonic after what you've been through. I don't feel like I'm doing well. I wake up at 3 a.m. convinced I'm still tied to that chair. But you wake up. You get through the day. You're functioning. That's success, Hannah. Christopher hovers. Not in a smothering way, but I can feel his constant awareness of where I am, how I'm doing. He works from home, takes calls in his study, but always keeps the door open. At night, when nightmares wake me screaming, he's there within seconds. I'm okay, I tell him after the 4th nightmare in a week. You don't have to keep checking on me. I'm not checking on you. I'm making sure you know you're not alone. He sits on the edge of my bed. There's a difference. Maybe there is. Maybe that's why it doesn't feel suffocating. 12 weeks after that night in the hospital, I'm sitting in Christopher's study watching him work through financial reports when something clicks in my brain. A pattern I've seen 3 times now in the numbers he's reviewing. Can I see that? I gesture to the spreadsheet on his laptop. He turns the screen toward me without question. I scan the columns, do mental math, and confirm what I suspected. These numbers don't add up. Look, the reported expenses for warehouse maintenance increased 30% over 6 months, but the actual maintenance records show no major work. Someone's skimming. Christopher leans closer, studies what I'm pointing out. How did you catch that? I taught 3rd grade math for 3 years. You learn to spot patterns. I pull up another sheet. And it's not just one location. 3 warehouses, same pattern, same percentage discrepancy. That's not coincidence. His expression darkens. Show me everything you found. We spend 2 hours going through his financial records. I identify 4 separate instances of embezzlement, all small enough to go unnoticed individually, but totaling nearly $200,000 over the past year. Who oversees these accounts? I ask. Anthony Grimaldi, one of my financial managers. Christopher pulls out his phone. Franco, I need you to bring Grimaldi in. Quietly. Don't tell him why. After he hangs up, he looks at me with something I recognize as respect. You have a gift for this. For finding thieves? For seeing patterns others miss? For thinking strategically? He closes the laptop. I could use that skill, if you're interested. In what, exactly? Learning how the organization actually works. Not just the violence you've witnessed, but the business side. We're not all guns and intimidation. Most of what we do is logistics, finance, negotiations. The offer surprises me. You want me involved in your business? I want you to understand it, to be equipped. If something happens to me, you need to know who to trust, what's actually happening, how to protect yourself. He takes my hand. And if I'm being honest, I want your partnership. You're brilliant, Hannah. That shouldn't go to waste. I think about it. About Tyler, who wanted me small and scared. About Christopher, who's offering to share his empire. Teach me. We start the next day. Christopher walks me through the structure of his organization. The hierarchy, the territories, the various business fronts, both legal and less so. He introduces me to his captains. Men who initially view me with skepticism that shifts when Christopher makes clear I have his full confidence. I learn codes, signals, how to read situations. Which conversations mean conflict brewing, which mean opportunity. How money flows through legitimate channels to wash illegal earnings. The complexity is staggering. We're not good guys, Christopher says during one lesson, but we have rules. We protect our territory and the people in it. We provide jobs, security, justice when the legal system fails. It's not perfect, but it's ours. And the violence is a last resort. Most disputes are settled through negotiation or economic pressure. But when someone breaks the code, when they threaten what's ours, yes, we respond with force. I'm not naive enough to think this makes it okay, but I understand it better now. The world Christopher inhabits operates by different rules than the one I came from. To survive in it, to truly be his partner, I need to learn those rules. After 2 weeks of intensive education, I sit in on my first actual business meeting. 5 of Christopher's captains discussing territory expansion into New Jersey. I say nothing, just observe, taking mental notes. But when they reach an impasse about cost distribution, I see the solution they're missing. What if you structured it as a shared investment with tiered returns based on contribution? That way risk is distributed, but reward scales appropriately. The room goes quiet. The men exchange glances. Then one of them, an older captain named Vincent, nods slowly. That could work. They implement my suggestion. The meeting concludes successfully. Afterward, Vincent approaches me. You got a head for this, Mrs. Foster. Welcome to the family. Not yet, Mrs. Ravellini, but the acceptance means something. Megan visits that weekend. I've been putting off being fully honest with her. But after everything, she deserves the truth. We sit on the balcony with wine while Christopher gives us privacy. I need to tell you something. I start. About Christopher. About what he actually does. I know he's connected to organized crime, Han. I'm not stupid. Do you know the extent? He's not just connected. He runs it. The Ravellini family. Territory throughout Manhattan and beyond. It's not small time. Megan sets down her glass carefully. Are you in danger? I was. The kidnapping proved that. But Christopher's handling it. Making things more secure. And you're okay with this? With being involved with someone like that? I love him. I say simply. I know what he is, what he does, and I'm choosing him anyway. Eyes open, Meg. I'm not being manipulated or controlled. I'm making an informed choice. She studies my face for a long time. You look happy. Actually happy, not pretending. I haven't seen that in years. I am happy. For the first time since before Tyler, maybe before that, I feel like myself, strong, capable, loved. Then I support you. She squeezes my hand. But if he ever hurts you, I'm calling the FBI personally. I laugh. Deal. 3 months after the kidnapping, I'm ready to return to teaching. Not remotely anymore. In person, at PS 147, with my actual students. Christopher arranges discreet security. 2 guards posing as school maintenance staff, always within range but never obvious. My classroom feels the same, but I'm different, stronger, more present. Jessica nearly tackles me when I walk into the teacher's lounge. Hannah, oh my God, I was so worried. We all were. Are you okay? I am now. Thank you for not giving up on me, even when I pushed you away. You're my friend. I wasn't going anywhere. She pulls back to look at me. You seem different. Good different. A lot has changed. I'll explain over coffee sometime. I'm holding you to that. My students are excited to have me back. 23 third graders with so much energy and enthusiasm, it's overwhelming in the best way. I'd forgotten how much I love this, how teaching gives me purpose beyond survival. The routine helps. Lesson plans, grading papers, parent conferences. Normal things that make me feel human again. 15 weeks after that first night in the hospital, Christopher takes me to dinner at an Italian restaurant I've never seen before. The entire place is empty except for us. Did you rent out the whole restaurant? I ask, as we're seated on the rooftop terrace. I own it. Figured privacy would be appreciated tonight. The Manhattan skyline glitters around us, 1,000 lights promising infinite possibilities. Dinner is perfect, conversation flowing easily like it always does between us now. After dessert, Christopher stands and comes around to my side of the table. Then he kneels. My heart stops. Hannah Foster. 3.5 months ago, you walked into an emergency room thinking your life was over. Instead, you changed mine completely. He pulls out a small velvet box. You're the strongest person I've ever met. You've survived things that would break most people and come out the other side more beautiful for it. I love you more than I knew was possible to love another human being. He opens the box. The ring inside is stunning, antique, with a diamond that catches light like captured stars. This belonged to my grandmother, the only Ravellini marriage that actually worked, according to family history. His voice is steady, but his hands shake slightly. I'm not promising you easy. I'm not promising you safe. But I'm promising you partnership, equality, love that doesn't diminish you but celebrates everything you are. Will you marry me? I slide off my chair to kneel in front of him, taking his face in my hands. Yes. Absolutely yes. He kisses me like I'm oxygen, and he's been drowning. The ring slides onto my finger perfectly, heavy with history and promise. In my world, wives aren't property, he says when we break apart. They're queens, equal partners in everything. That's what I'm offering you. That's what I'm accepting. I look at the ring, at him, at the city spread below us. Whenever you want. Take time to plan if you need it. 10 weeks, I decide. Small ceremony. Just people we actually care about. 10 weeks, he agrees. We stay on that rooftop for another hour, planning our future, talking about everything and nothing. When we finally leave, his hand never lets go of mine. In the car ride home, I watch Manhattan blur past and think about how dramatically my life has changed. 4 months ago, I was trapped, terrified, convinced I'd die at Tyler's hands. Now I'm free, strong, loved by a man who sees my power rather than my weakness. It's not the life I planned, but it's the life I'm choosing, and that makes all the difference. 9 days before the wedding, everything falls apart. I'm reviewing seating charts at the kitchen island when Christopher storms in with Franco and 3 other men I recognize as his top captains. His face is granite. What's wrong? I set down the papers. Silva's brother, Miguel. He's in New York with what's left of the cartel. Christopher pulls up security footage on his tablet. Spotted at 3 different locations in the past hour. He's planning something. The wedding? Or before. He wants revenge for Fernando. He looks at Franco. Double security at all properties. Everyone on high alert. I want eyes everywhere. The men disperse. Christopher turns to me, and I see fear beneath the command. We need to move you somewhere safe. No. Hannah. No, I'm not running anymore. If they're coming, I stay with you. I stand, move to him. You've taught me to fight, to defend myself, to be strong. Don't ask me to hide now. This isn't about strength. It's about keeping you alive. Then we do it together. He searches my face, jaw working. Finally nods. All right. But you stay armed. You stay close. And if I tell you to move, you move. Understood? Understood. 3 days pass in tense waiting. Security sweeps hourly. Guards rotate constantly. The penthouse becomes a fortress. I continue teaching remotely, keep planning the wedding, refuse to let fear control my life. The attack comes on a Wednesday night. We're having dinner when the alarms sound, not just ours. Christopher's phone explodes with notifications. The security feed shows simultaneous assaults on 4 different properties across the city. It's coordinated, Franco says, weapon already drawn. They're trying to split our forces. Christopher is on his feet, barking orders into his phone. Mobilize everyone. Defend the warehouses. Secure the ports. I'm coordinating from here. Boss, you should evacuate. I'm not leaving. His eyes meet mine. Neither of us are. The penthouse transforms into a command center. Maps spread across the dining table. Radio chatter filling the air. Christopher directing his people with military precision while I stand to the side, Glock in hand, watching it all unfold. Warehouse 3 is holding. Someone reports. Heavy casualties on their side. Port Authority reports cartel retreat. Another voice crackles through the radio. It's working. Christopher's people are repelling the attacks. But something feels wrong. The coordination, the timing. This is a diversion, I say suddenly. Christopher looks up. What? They're attacking everywhere else, so you're distracted. But what you're protecting most is right here. You. His eyes widen. Franco, roof access, now. Franco runs. Too late. The skylight above us explodes inward. Glass rains down. 6 men rappel into the penthouse with military efficiency. Christopher is moving before I process it. Returning fire. Taking cover behind the kitchen island. I drop flat. Crawl toward the hallway where Franco taught me to position during breach scenarios. One of the attackers advances on Franco's position. Franco's weapon jams. He's exposed. Vulnerable. I don't think. Muscle memory takes over. I sight. Breathe. Squeeze the trigger. The man drops. I killed him. I just killed someone. My hands start shaking, but there's no time to process. Another attacker is moving toward Christopher's blind spot. I fire again. Miss. Adjust. Fire. Hit his shoulder. He goes down. The fight is chaos. Gunfire echoing in the confined space. Smoke from weapons filling the air. Christopher fights with lethal grace. Franco recovers, joins the defense. Within minutes, it's over. 4 attackers dead. 2 captured. My ears ring from the gunfire. My hands won't stop shaking. Christopher appears in front of me, checking for injuries. Are you hurt? I shake my head. Can't speak. Can't do anything except stare at the body of the man I killed. He's maybe 30. Young. Dead because I pulled the trigger. Hannah. Christopher's hands frame my face. Look at me. You saved Franco's life. You defended our home. This was necessary. I killed someone. The words come out broken. You survived. That's what matters. But it doesn't feel like survival. It feels like something fundamental has changed inside me. For a beat, the room narrowed to a ringing hush, a bright circle where my breath wouldn't quite catch. My brain labeled the moment, alive, still alive, and only then did the wider world rush back in. Boots, shouted orders, the harsh scrape of glass across stone. The aftermath is mechanical. Christopher's people arrive to clean up, remove bodies, repair damage. Police don't come. In Christopher's world, these things are handled internally. Franco approaches me while Christopher coordinates. Thank you. You saved my life. I had to. Your family. Yes, we are. He squeezes my shoulder. And what you did, that weight you're feeling, it's normal. Talk to the boss. He understands. Hours later, when the penthouse is finally secure and empty except for us, I sit on the balcony staring at the city. Christopher finds me there, wraps a blanket around my shoulders, sits beside me. Tell me what you're feeling. I took a life. I know it was self-defense. I know he would have killed Franco, but I still took a life, and I can't stop thinking about whether he had family, whether someone will mourn him, whether I had the right. Hannah, he takes my hand. What you're feeling proves you're still human. Still good. The fact that it weighs on you means you haven't become the kind of person who kills easily. He pauses. But you did what was necessary to protect the people you love. There's no shame in that. How do you live with it? All the deaths you've caused? By knowing the alternative was worse. By choosing the lesser evil when there are no good options. His thumb traces patterns on my palm. And by having someone like you remind me that this weight matters. That we should feel it. We sit in silence for a long time. Processing. Healing. Eventually, exhaustion pulls me toward sleep. Come on, Christopher says gently. You need rest. 3 days later, Christopher brings me to a meeting I don't expect. A warehouse near the docks, neutral territory. Across from us sit 3 men in expensive suits. What's left of the cartel leadership after Miguel Silva was killed in the attack. This ends now, Christopher says. No more attacks, no more war. We establish clear boundaries and both sides respect them. The lead negotiator, an older man with cold eyes, studies Christopher. Then me. You bring your woman to negotiations? I bring my partner, who has insights you'd be wise to hear. The man smirks, but gestures for me to speak. I lean forward. You've lost your 2 best leaders. Your organization is fractured. Continuing this war will cost more than you can afford. Christopher is offering you a way to survive with dignity. I suggest you take it. And if we refuse, then you'll lose everything. I hold his gaze. This isn't a threat. It's mathematics. Calculate your odds. Silence. Then the man laughs. Actually laughs. She has teeth, I like it. He looks at Christopher. Very well. We accept terms. Territory stays as is. No crossings. Any disputes are negotiated, not fought. They shake hands. The war is over. 10 days after the attack, I stand in a bedroom in a converted barn upstate, wearing a simple white dress that Megan helped me choose. My hands are steady as I fix my hair. Through the window, I see guests arriving. Christopher's close family. His loyal captains who've accepted me as one of their own. Megan. Jessica. A few teacher colleagues who think they're celebrating my marriage to a successful businessman. You look beautiful, Megan says, adjusting my veil. Are you ready? Yes, I am. The ceremony is outside under an ancient oak tree. 50 people maximum. String quartet playing softly. Christopher waits at the altar in a black suit, looking at me like I'm the only person in the world. When I reach him, he takes my hands, and his are shaking slightly. The officiant is brief. We chose traditional vows with one addition. When it's my turn to speak, I look into Christopher's dark eyes and say what's in my heart. I choose you. Not because you saved me, but because you saw me when I was invisible. You gave me strength when I felt weak. You offered partnership when I expected control. I choose you every day for the rest of my life. His vows are similar, about finding light in darkness, about learning that love doesn't diminish but multiplies strength. When we kiss, the world narrows to just us, just this moment, just the promise we're making. The reception is joyful. Food, music, dancing. Franco makes a speech about loyalty that makes everyone laugh and tear up. Megan toasts to new beginnings. Jessica pulls me aside and says she's proud of me for finding happiness. At midnight, the guests have left, and it's just Christopher and me under stars so bright they feel close enough to touch. Dance with me, he says. We sway to music only we can hear. His arms around me feel like home, like safety, like everything I've ever wanted. 4 months ago, I whisper, I was dying slowly in that apartment with Tyler. I thought I'd never escape, never be free, never find real love. And now I'm married to the most dangerous man in Manhattan, and I've never felt safer. I pull back to look at him. You gave me my life back, Christopher. But more than that, you gave me a life worth living. You did that yourself. I just provided the opportunity. Then thank you for the opportunity. And for everything that came after. He kisses me, deep and slow and full of promise. When we break apart, he lifts me into his arms. Let's go start our honeymoon. Our suite in the barn has been transformed. Candles everywhere. Rose petals on the bed. Champagne chilling. We make love as husband and wife with an intensity that speaks to everything we've survived to reach this moment. Every touch is worship. Every kiss is promise. Every breath shared between us is choosing each other again and again. After, tangled in sheets, Christopher's fingers trace the engagement ring now paired with a wedding band. I love you, Mrs. Ravellini. I love you too. I fall asleep in his arms, completely at peace. Morning comes soft and golden. I wake before Christopher, take a moment to just watch him sleep. This man who rules an empire with iron control looks almost vulnerable in sleep. Human. Mine. I think about the journey that brought me here. The hospital, the fear, the training, the kidnapping, the killing. Every moment built toward this, toward choosing strength over fear, partnership over submission, love over safety. Christopher's eyes open. Find mine immediately. He smiles. Good morning, wife. Good morning, husband. Ready for whatever comes next? I think about it. About the world we live in. The dangers still present. The choices I'll have to make. And I realize the answer is simple. With you, always. Because that's what this is. What we are. Two survivors who found each other in the darkness and chose to build something unbreakable together. It's not perfect. It's not safe. But it's ours. And I wouldn't change a single thing.